stretch of road between the island going towards Los Fresnos. Highway 100. Currently in a 55 zone. 65 should be coming up here. There's a 65 sign. It's not showing on the visualization. Now it switches to the highway interstate mode. And it's still going 55, and I'm going to have to push it up to 65. This stretch and the stretch between the island and the Brownsville airport, it doesn't want to see the 65 or greater signs, but it switches to the highway mode. Interstate works fine. This part of the road is saw the 55 and the 60 mile per hour speed limit signs. We should have another 65 coming up. Some people think it gets the speed limits from the navigation data, and sometimes I think that is correct. But also, if there's a semi-truck blocking a speed limit sign, it doesn't seem to adjust for that. So is the navigation data telling it where the signs are to look for? Or is it actually telling it its speed? Now, if I use Waze or Google, another app that shows me the speed limit for the area, it has it correctly. Again, it's kind of gray and overcast right now today, and the windshield wipers are going on as if it's raining. It doesn't think it's raining hard because it's not telling me the full self-drive is degraded. Now we're going past another 60 mile per hour speed limit sign that shows it on the visualization briefly. I'm not touching the accelerator or the brake. The car's doing the driving itself. I'm just supervising it. Just moved over to the right-hand lane. No need to be in the left-hand lane. Side of Los Fresnos between here and the island, it does not show anything in the visualization when passing the 65 mile per hour zone. But we're also not in what we consider the highway interstate stack like that now. It seems to do that when it gets over 65 miles per hour. But between the island and the Brownsville airport, doesn't want to see those 65 either. Now we are going to be getting on the interstate up here, and it does see those. So it has to be nav data related somehow or another. Okay, it's going to try to switch lanes here. Faster lane, I guess. Not much faster. right now it looks good, but once we get closer, it seems to think the far left-hand lane is also a right turn lane. It's getting back over there, which is good. Previous versions, it'll try to use that, but see where I mean right here? That's not a right-hand turn. That's nav data issue. But in the previous version, it used to try to use that far outside lane to make this turn. I'm glad that this version doesn't do that anymore. Well, that's nav issue data. Why is it in there like that? I don't know. Because after this, there is no way to make a right. It's one way, so you have to make a left anyway. Coming up to the on-ramp of the interstate. It's automatically switching to 70, even though there's no signs for it. That's grabbing it from nav data, knowing that you're getting on the interstate. We're on the on-ramp. It's still on the Max, so it hasn't switched to the highway interstate stack. Now it has. Let's see, we should have a sign coming up here. Now we do have a long drive. It is recommending to stay at 70 or below. So if the car is recommending me to stay 70 or below to make it to my next destination, why is the car automatically choosing a faster speed than 70? It should follow its own recommendation. I can see if I want to increase it, okay, but this is what it's setting itself at 74. When you're making a long trip like this, to your next destination, it should use its recommendations to make it smoother. I do have it in chill mode, so right now it's not changing lanes to pass a slower vehicle. If I put it in assertive mode, it will. So I do see a difference in the modes on the interstate. Recognizing the turn signals on other vehicles. It's now has the speed limit, last speed limit known as 65. I am trying to recall if I saw a speed limit sign. I think there was one back there. I don't know if it showed up in the visualization. I wasn't watching the screen. I was watching the road like we're supposed to. You have noticed that I haven't had a steering wheel nag in a fair amount of time, and I haven't touched it. Depending on traffic and stuff, the nags are less frequent. Okay, we have a 65 sign coming up here. Let's see if it shows up over here on the visualization. Yes, it does. So it's showing it on the visualization when it recognizes it. Still zero nags on the steering wheel. Still haven't touched it. I don't think I've touched it since we got on the interstate. Now it's asking for some input. So that was a little touch there. Let's see how long we go from that. So far it's been 2 miles and no problems. I got 2 hours to go to the next supercharger I have to get to on my trip. Now it's asking for input. We're at almost 3 miles. In this little clip here, I might use it. Who knows? Even though the car tells me to keep it at 70 miles per hour to make it to my next destination, we're in a 75 zone. It has decided it wants to do 85. Yeah. Come on, Tesla. Now we're pushing well over 300 miles a mile. Almost 600 there just to get up to the follow your own logic there. Sorry. My opinion. Okay, the car is taking the exit by itself here. I'm actually going to have to intervene because I need to hit the bathroom on this trip. But I just want to start recording to see how it handles this. Texas, we have these U-turn lanes. And maybe I won't be using the bathroom. I don't see any place around here. Four-way stop. Some of these locations it wants to get on the shoulder. I don't know why, but this one seems to be handling it fine. Come on, birdie. I think a bird's too small for her to see. There's a little Murphy's gas station. I haven't seen those have a public restroom around here. Country style road. Gonna come up to some train tracks on the other side. This light is red, so it's gonna be slowing down anyway. So let's see if it keeps accelerating over the train tracks. We do have a 65 mile per hour speed limit sign coming up here on this country road. Let's see if it sees this one. It's accelerating. A little bit of a slowdown for the road tracks. That was good. They were kind of rough. Here comes the 65 sign there. Nothing on the visualization. Did not see that 65 sign at all. So now, but it has gone into the highway mode as if it understands we're in a 65 zone. So yeah, that is still very odd, not seeing the 65 mile per hour speed limit signs on some of these roads. Is it a navigation issue or what? Nothing showed up on the visualization, even though the sign was clear as day. A different area. Coming up to another 65 sign here. I'm not seeing anything on the visualization. Still not seeing it again. Okay, here we're coming up onto another. This will be the third 65 mile per hour speed limit sign. Still nothing on the visualization. Still no change in the car. Now we're coming up to some construction because there's a road closed up ahead. But we're going to be making a right up here anyway, so it's not going to affect us. It's not like the car has to figure it out. But again, we've missed 3 65 mile per hour speed limit signs it did not recognize. It's still assuming it's a 55 zone. And if I go to Waze, it's showing it's a 65. So the navigation data is there, it's a 65. So there's a 4-way stop here, but yet that has a sign that says cross traffic does not stop. Doesn't make any sense. Now we're coming up here, it's now saying 65 miles per hour, but there's no sign. Here we have a 60 mile per hour sign. It sees that and it adjusts to that. We're no longer in the highway stack. So yeah, this is just kind of annoying. But even then, since I have left the island, except for I want to hit the car wash, I have not touched the brake, the accelerator. I haven't done any steering. I did do a disengagement when I started entering Los Fresnos because the car does not slow down fast enough, and it's a speed trap zone. And you're going from 65 down to 55, 45, then 30. It needs to slow down a lot quicker, especially for those little towns. But yeah, I'm at a loss why it's not seeing these 65 mile per hour signs on these roads in the country here in Texas, where it obviously knows it's in a different state, a highway state of driving. It will really be annoying if it doesn't, especially if you use the Auto Max, because then you would not be able to get it to go faster. So it's coming up to a stop here. No cross traffic does not stop here. Last time I came this way, there used to be construction going on here. It's nice and clear now. Looks like they finished this road, which looks nice. And it's still driving very smoothly. Now, a while back when I left, it was anticipating I'll have 24% battery, but when I get the supercharger, it's now saying 13. I'm pretty sure the car is still occasionally wanting to go over 70. It's now assuming we're in a 55. I don't recall call if you pass the speed limit sign. It's still on Automax. It's doing extremely good. It's being very safe, except for the little speed issues. I don't know if it's right on that border there where I would almost be comfortable going to sleep and letting the car do the driving for me on the trip. Not saying that's what I'm going to do. That's not something you're supposed to do. You're still supposed to pay attention and stay awake. But if this was fully approved, for all the driving I've done, I am pretty confident it's making good decisions. It can make annoying decisions sometimes, but so far it has been extremely safe in all of its decision making. I'm trying to keep my eye out for a speed limit sign. I haven't seen one yet. Waze says the speed limit here is 75. So navigation data from Google is claiming this is a 75 mile per hour zone. Now the car still thinks it's 55. And I still don't recall seeing any speed limit signs. In some states, like if I recall Virginia, you will have a minimal safe speed. So if you're in a 75 zone, you might not be able to go any slower than 50. And if you are, you can get pulled over and given a ticket for being a hazard on the road. Tire in the road. I really wish I would do more to avoid those things, but noisy but no damage. This is a pretty long stretch of road not to see speed limit signs. There usually should be a speed limit sign every so often. I do have a orange sign with a speed limit sign which indicates a speed slowing down, and it's saying 65 miles per hour. 75 zone. I might have to watch this video a little bit closer to see if I actually saw a 75 mile per hour sign anywhere on this stretch since we got on this road. But according to that sign, we should be seeing a 65 sign showing up here shortly. Even though the car still thinks we're in a 55, but it is doing 67. Which, if it was really a 55, that would mean a ticket because I'm going 10 over the speed limit. And even if I was to scroll down on the Automax, it doesn't really recognize any of that input. So you would have to disengage self-driving. I think even if it is set to Automax and it's choosing its own speed, it should still, you know, if I was to hit the scroll button down, it should pay attention that I'm trying to tell it to slow down. Still haven't seen a 65 mile per hour speed limit sign yet, even though there was a sign warning about that coming up. But yet it's for the construction area, but now I'm passing it in the road work. So that's kind of weird. Here we're coming to another intersection. Usually there should be a speed limit sign shortly after intersections. And yes, we do have one coming up here. It is actually a 75 mile per hour sign. And it's not showing up on the visualization at all. So we are in fact in a 75 zone. But the last speed the car recognized was, or thinks, is 55. Why all these sticks are wrapped in plastic in this film field. We haven't been having any freezing temperatures or anything. Maybe they're just covering them while we spray something. I don't know. Non-interstate roads, it seems to be not wanting to see speed limit signs above 60 miles per hour. But I have to say, twice it did recognize me. In the weeks that I've been driving this version of the beta, only 2 times did it recognize the speed limit signs on the same stretch of road that I drive 3 or 4 times a day. So that is odd. Okay, 3 lanes here. The right one is right turn only. The middle one is straight. Okay. over slowly. Yeah, but it's okay. I have 89 miles to go. I have 161 miles left on the battery. It's anticipating I'll have about 35 miles when I get there. No reason to stress. I should only have one charge to make it to my destination, but I might charge less and catch the next supercharger to increase the trip. Because this is anticipating a 25-minute charging time. Okay, I can cut that down to 10 or 15 minutes. Or I can just go ahead and charge a little bit longer. These backcountry roads, kind of fun but annoying. I've yet to see a convenience store anywhere. An exciting drive, but it's annoying that it's not seeing those speed limit signs. Like I say, we are in a 75 zone, but yet this semi is not going 75. He's only going 70. A little piece of rubber coming from his another piece. I don't know what's being thrown. I think he's going to lose a tire. Rubber. I have at one time in my other Tesla, the first Tesla I had was on an interstate, and I had a semi-truck to the side of me and his tire blew, taking out my left front headlight and stuff. That wasn't expensive to repair. The service center, took care of it. I smell rubber, so yeah, he's losing a tire. He's going to have a blowout eventually. I have another car. This lane's just starting to merge with this other car. It's like he wants to pass, but he hasn't decided yet. He's staying close. He's not accelerating. The car is actually accelerating a little more because keeps coming up. So we are doing 75 in what the car thinks is a 55. We're not doing 76. So right now the car is in a give me a speeding ticket mode. I understand it wanting to do 76 because this car is right on my tail because he's wanting to do 80. Since it's technically a 75. Coming up to an intersection here. Going 4 miles away. Slowing down, and there's a should take over here. No, I can't pass that entrance. Oh well. Well, what I'm going to try to do is go straight. Because that would give me an insurance ding for hard braking. So I'm driving right now because I have to hit this bathroom. Once I get in the parking lot, I'll end the navigation. Even though my trip was heading and supposed to be going to the Alice supercharger, it's now want to reroute to Kingsville and kind of go back out of the way. Why is it not giving me the Alice supercharger now? Just because I stopped to use the bathroom on the route, so it should not have changed this at all. Why go to Kingsville then to Alice? Just go straight to Alice. Damn. Remove charging stops. Yeah, it's because it's under 15%. I mean, okay, I don't mind going down to 3%. But it's annoying because when I'm using the full self-driving, sometimes it automatically starts switching and changing, and the car wants to do a U-turn to go around the other way, because it feels it might not make it. Dumb things like that. It needs to be able to give us the option to go down to 5% or what have you, what we feel comfortable with. But it is supervised. Engage this now. It should. No, why is it going right? I need to go left. Turning right when it should be turning left. So, anyway, we're continuing the drive here. Let's see how much of this I use if I have time to make another video. This trip. I still have a lot of time-lapse videos to do. I don't think this is 25 here, but it is in a highway mode, so I can adjust. I'm pushing it up. It says 75, so let's do 85. But no signs yet. So we got that nav issue. Or nav data. border checkpoint, or border patrol checkpoint. Sign. And nothing shows in the visualization, but it already thinks we're at 75, so it's doing proper speed. Not sure why it's slowing down. Now I'm forcing it to go the out of supercharger. If I just end the trip and try to go to my destination, okay, now it's choosing the out of supercharger. So it's choosing the right one now. Hopefully it doesn't switch. Last time it was on version 11. I came back from the San Antonio area. After I hit the Alice supercharger, I was heading to the Harlingen supercharger. And it got right about here, and then all of a sudden it wanted to reroute and go back to Kingsville. Kingsville supercharger is also a slower supercharger. It's not a 250. In the windshield. Very hard to go back to any other vehicle after owning a Tesla and driving technically over 300,000 miles now. Because my first Tesla, I put over 150 some odd miles on that one. And almost all of that was full self-driving as well. Earlier beta versions. And this one, I am currently at 226,000 miles. when I look at Testify, their data for the highest odometer for all Model 3s, I think I'm still up there at number 1. No issues. Still the original battery pack. Still going good. It thinks it's raining again. Gray skies. The rain sensor is just a form of a light sensor. And it goes by different color light, assuming it's raining. Or the color change is caused by rain. So different color changes in the sky can affect it. To determine that, you're going to have issues. I think long ago, when they had auto windshield wipers, they actually had 2 bare wires that when they detected moisture, it would engage the windshield wipers. I do have up in this cluster here where the rain sensor is. And I also think a headlight sensor, to tell when there's oncoming traffic lights. I am not sure why they just can't use the main camera to do all that. Those extra sensors. It doesn't see from my perspective. I have some mud splatters here, so I need to wash the windshield. So let me go through that. Before they get on there too hard. It's a relatively easy, relaxed drive. The car's been handling everything. This section here, it is in an interstate highway mode. It's not technically an interstate. It's a highway 281. It's getting from the nav data, I guess, the speed limit of 75, since it does not visualize the signs here. The other road we're on, it never went into the highway interstate mode. But it still didn't visualize the 75 sign. I'm trying to recall if we ever actually stop sign, which was too late. It's still wanting to stay in the left-hand lane, where technically should be in the right-hand lane. I can hit the turn signal, which I'll do now. Now it's saying the full self-driving may be degraded because we're in this massive downpour weather. So it has the headlights on along with the fog lights. It's still saying that we may be degraded. It's trying to change lanes to stay out of the rightmost lane, where technically you're supposed to stay out of the left lane unless you're passing vehicles. A lot of tire debris in that turn lane there. Some more tire debris all over here. See some up in the right lane. I'm not sure if at this speed the car can do a good job distinguishing shreds of tires. Especially since we hit one earlier, but it did no damage. And yeah, right now you got these sections of tar in the road that could look like tire debris. So it's hard for it to distinguish between those things. So I kind of understand, how the car is trying to figure it out. It doesn't have stereo vision, so it can't tell depth. But in a way, it can. Cameras have focal lengths. It can adjust its focal length and tell how far something is by if it's in focus or not. If the cameras on here do any focusing, or if they are fixed just to have everything in focus, I have not really looked into that. Of the individual cameras on the car to see if they have an adjustable iris where it can change its focal distance. I'm going to tell it again to get out of this lane. Let's see how long it will stay out of the lane. Wipers are still going. It still thinks it's raining. It is a gray, overcast day. Now we have a slower vehicle, so it may just decide to pass. faster and consuming more energy, getting my percentage down. The lower I am down, if I'm down around 5%, that's when it charges the fastest. If I get there with 15%, I don't think I'm going to get the full 250 kilowatts. We will see. But with the curve, as it gets higher, it starts slowing down more. Hello. Yes, it's a scam. Hello. And they hung up. I don't know if you ever tried those with these Chico sticks. I don't see them everywhere anymore. Coconut peanut butter. Toasted coconut peanut butter. Hard, but I enjoy them. brakes for, some it doesn't. Like that one, it didn't brake for. But there was a truck there. I would expect it to brake a little bit. Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello? I just gotta hang up. These scammers don't want to play anymore. Again, it's still hanging in the left lane when it should be in the right lane. I'm going to tell it to get back over again. Always go here, oh, no, not here, and just say minimal lane changes. Let's see if that'll keep it out. We are coming to an inspection station of passenger vehicles, 1/2 mile. This is the border checkpoint area. So let's see what the car does coming through this. I will tell it to slow down. Stopped back there. That is suspicious. And I'm going to actually disengage full self-driving because I don't know if it will stop or not. I don't want to go through a border checkpoint and it not stop.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're a citizen?
Yes.
You be safe. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Very quick and easy. I don't want to play games. Re-engage the full self-driving. It's accelerating here. And it wants to do 85. Wow. That was little hump there on the 85. Felt like I was about to get a little airborne. Just drop that down. I'm trying to. We're at 75. But now it saw the 45 sign for that one ramp. So I switched to 45. And it's not seeing the 75 sign. It saw the 45, but not the 75 that it should have seen. That was wild. That's wild. So now it thinks I'm going way over the speed limit. Not seeing 75 mile per hour speed limit sign. Re-engaged. Yeah, it's not grabbing anything from the nav data. But yeah, if I look at Waze, it's going to tell me we're into 75. Funny that it saw that 45 on the on-ramp and adjusted to that, and now it's stuck at that for who knows how long. Set the minimal lane changes. Because I don't want to drop it back into the passing lane when I'm not passing. Pass his truck on his own. So I turn that off. Let's see if we'll pass it. It does still think we're on a 45. Since it thinks we're in a 45, it doesn't send me to pass this truck, even though I want to go a lot faster than what it thinks we're in. Tap the speed limit sign, it's just going to adjust to 52. current speed. Just tap your current speed and it'll do that. Control button is increase it, decrease it when you have this option available. See if there's another speed limit sign coming up. I don't want to pass the truck or force it to pass the truck unless we see another speed limit sign, because it might be blocking it when we're passing it. Deciding to pass. I'm not sure if this pickup truck is passing or what. Why the long delay before it made up its mind to pass a slower vehicle? Self-driving does not read street signs or notification billboards like that or anything. There's no built-in optical character recognition in the car or OCR. So I wouldn't expect it to. You see there's a bump up ahead, loose gravel. Speed limit sign, no notification, no recognition on here. It's in the front out sign. Now it's okay. There was no sign here, but now undoubtedly nav data gave it the 75, so it's adjusted to 85. Data in some places but not others, I don't know. It's not consistent. markers from Discount Tires. With the amount of driving I do, I can't afford to change my tires very frequently. I definitely can't afford the very expensive EV tires. So yeah, they're repaving this road here. Cars handling the construction area just fine. When I'm doing these type of drives, I try to think what it would be like if I'm asleep in the car. Can I sleep comfortably like this? How long would it be till I could actually just, like on an airplane, kick back and go to sleep, recline the car, the seat all the way back, and take a nap as it drives. Me personally, I don't know if that's the great thing, especially in this Model 3, when all you have to do is tap the brake or the accelerator, and you're overriding and the brake's going to disengage the full self-driving. The accelerator, you're going to speed a lot faster. I tend to toss and turn in my sleep. So I wouldn't want to be in the driver's seat, because I'm afraid I'll be in the middle of tossing and turning and hit the brake or something. And a robo-taxi feature where you have no pedals and no steering wheel. Yeah. Now, could they make the robo-taxi drive by wire and not have a steering wheel and pedals and just have a screen here where you can just touch the screen to tell it to turn and what have you? That would not be difficult to do at all. Since it would be drive by wire. Now, is the way just to pull off the steering wheel and just have something here, like an airbag just here, no steering wheel? And if you lean against it, you'll still be able to override it, so that might be difficult, but there might be options. permanent 65 sign. That was a temporary one. It was placed there for the work zone. That's why I say the car really needs to recognize all speed limit signs on the road and take note of them. If I look at the nav data, it still thinks it's 75. So in this case, since it is a sign for a work zone, it needs to obey that. It's staying out of the rightmost lane again. You're not supposed to be in the passing lane. I understand staying out of the rightmost lane, especially in emerging traffic. Now it's getting back over. Didn't say why it's getting over. Just did. It thinks we're in a 45 now, and I have no control over the speed, but it's doing 68. Why it thinks it's 45, I don't know. Doing 68's okay, since it's technically 65 for the work zone. But there's also a car behind me, so it doesn't want to drop all the way down to 45 with them behind me. He is now passing me, and there's another truck further behind too, so it's kind of going with the flow of the traffic. Still just letting the car do its thing, not trying to intervene. It's actually, now it sees going 75. There was no sign there, so it got that from nav data. So now it wants to do 85. Now we have a 75 sign coming up. There, nothing on the visualization. So it's grabbing these speeds from the nav data. Staying in this rougher lane. 3 forward-facing cameras, one normal, one wide, and one narrow. So it could use each one of those to adjust. And hopefully not all 3 of those are completely blocked. Doesn't hit. It does kind of look like they were bugs. Reminds you of driving through Louisiana, especially those love bugs. Come out of the ground a couple times a year just to mate. Black and orange, you always see them connected together, mating in the air. Doing pretty good. Still saying I should have about 37.9 miles when I reach the supercharger in Alice. I'll have to look back and see what it was way back in Los Fresnos. What it was saying. I don't know if I have one of these phone here. Yeah, it was originally saying 53 miles. Miles. So we're looking about 38 miles. So there's 14 miles difference. Not a big deal. But we are doing a lot faster, 80 miles, not doing the 70 like it was recommending. Now I was saying I would have saved 8.4 miles, but you gotta remember I restarted this a while back, not at the very, so it's not the same as the very beginning of the drive. So it's not far off. If I would have stayed under 70 like I recommended, then yeah, I definitely would have had 54 or more miles left when I got to the supercharger. So this does a very good job. You follow what it says, you won't get stuck. stuck on the side of the road. Again, I've done over 300,000 miles driving in the Tesla. I have never once been stuck, stranded on the side of the road because I ran out of charge. And I've driven all over the place. Even gone to Roswell, New Mexico. There's no superchargers up there, but there's a McDonald's that's some destination chargers. So I plugged in there and checked out the museum and stuff up there for a few hours and let it charge the destination charger. But why people get stuck on the side of the road out of charge, I am not sure. Why do you hear people have all these battery issues, especially in the wintertime? The car heats and cools the battery and takes care of it. And this is getting annoying. I'm going to try to wash the windshield again. It's really not getting the splatter off the bugs. Miles from the supercharger, so it should be no issue. I'll take care of it when I get there. The car is still staying in the left-hand lane. It is passing slower vehicles, but it should be moving out of this passing lane. But as you've seen, every time I tell it to get in the right-hand lane, it stays there for a little bit, but then comes back over here to stay out of the rightmost lane. Since I looked under the settings, but it is now missing that stay out of the right or stay out of the passing lane option. And I'll have to check when it stops. I don't another sub-menu that I can get into when it's stopped to change that. No, I don't see any sub-menus that are disabled. Is it getting into this right left turn only lane? I don't know. Get back over there. That was bad. I've had that do it a few times on version 11. That's the first time I've done it here on version 12. Staying in this left-hand lane, it keeps jumping into the left-hand turn lanes. Jumping into left-hand turn only lane. Let's engage and report that. See if it does it again here. No, it's not. Okay. Why it doesn't those last two ones, I don't know. Bad navigation issue. Squeaking. detected. There is no poor weather. It is gray and hazy, but it's not raining, and the visibility is not reduced unless there's too many bugs there on the glass and the windshield. I'll find out here in less than 5 miles as it gets ready to take this exit here. This Altus supercharger is a nice high-speed one, but it's kind of a unique area. And sometimes the neighborhoods it has problems with. I personally think Tesla could have found a better spot for it. Like maybe over here at this Texas Best Exxon. It would have been better since it's right off that main highway strip. But I don't know how they go about negotiating. Maybe they didn't want to do that. Okay, now it's not detecting poor weather anymore. So if I re-enable the windshield wipers to auto, they shouldn't be going off. You notice when I hit the wash button, it turns on the headlights and the fog lights. It is now preconditioned the battery for fast charging. Only 5 minutes away. It is 78 degrees outside, so it probably doesn't need much preconditioning. Hopefully I have a nice busy week coming up and can make some extra money and afford to get the windshield replaced again. Maybe that will solve some of my issues. I don't know. In my car, I can hear a little hum from the motors and stuff when it's preconditioning the battery. Kind of sounds cool. Don't know if you can hear that or not. I am recording this on an iPhone 14 Pro Max. No external mics or anything. The audio is not the best. It's still saying poor weather detected, even though there's no poor weather. The road does look like it's a little damp from maybe some rain earlier. There's definitely no rain right now. And this is a rough little road. There's no lines. Well, there's limited lines. You can't really see them. distinguish what is a pothole and patchwork on this road. It is definitely a lot of little patches here and there. They should just redo it. Last year when I came down this road, it was the same way, so it hasn't changed in over a year. Oh, there may be some more patches, but man, it's all cracked up. It's coming to a stop here. It's clear, so it's going to make the right on the red by itself. Now, can the navigation get me into the parking lot of the supercharger? I think there is a few Teslas that go to these superchargers. And yes, I'm being sarcastic. So, full self-driving should have that. Navigation data should have that. But I do find a lot of times it's not the case. Especially in these smaller areas like out here in Alice, Texas. Now we're going to see what happens. It's coming up to the Circle K here where the superchargers are. It could make a right and go to the parking lot here, or make this next right. It's saying that, okay, so it is going to make the right. So yeah, it's at least getting me into the parking lot. But it's going away from the superchargers. The superchargers are back that way. I'm not going to a gas pump. So I'm going to disable and take over here. Because I don't want it circling the gas station. And oh my, look, this gas pump is out of service. That never happens. All gas pumps, and there's another one out of service. I always have people give me a hard time about Teslas. Like, well, what if the chargers don't work? Tesla tells you. If I click here, it's going to tell me. All stalls are available, so they're all working. If there's one that's not working, it will tell me which one not to use. I can go ahead and use the auto park here and just engage it here, and it should pull right back in, no problem. And they've removed a lot of the little humps at these superchargers so that the Cybertrucks can fit. And let me plug in, be right back. Let's see what type of speed we get. This is a 250 kilowatt supercharger, and it's ramping up here. 108 kilowatts, 146, 190, 207, 216. We're at 243, 248. 254 kilowatts, 256 kilowatts. And of course, you know, we're down here at the 17% battery. 255 kilowatts. Now it's kind of dropping down to 251. Let me close the door here. So it's telling me 30 minutes to continue trip. Now, of course, I have 136 miles to go. So I can either let it charge up to say 150, and I can make it there if I get to 150, 160. By conserving my driving, or I can choose another supercharger on the way, because we do have Three Rivers supercharger. That I believe is just a 150. So you got only one other supercharger here, the 151. That's 53 miles away. And technically have 63 miles, so we can technically make it. But I can just let it keep going, and then try to hit, one near San Antonio when I get there. We're at 213 kilowatts at 27%. So the kilowatts are dropping down, no longer 255, down to 208. About 30% should be down to 200 kilowatts. So if I am hitting a 150 kilowatt supercharger, if I'm at 40%, it doesn't matter, because it's not going to be much different. I see the 250 kilowatts are noticeable up to about 40% battery charge. After that, it doesn't get, it's not utilizing the 250 kilowatts. It'd be nice if it could do 250 kilowatts all the way. Like I say, right now we're at 33%. It's down to 188 kilowatts. And so it's no longer utilizing that full 250 kilowatts. It would be nice if it could do that for longer, but it's controlling the battery. It's not overheating. It doesn't want to use the full 250 kilowatts constantly. It may not just be the percentage, it could just be the time. Now we can go into you go over here and you hold, and then go type in service. You can get into the service menu, enable. It's charging. I want to go ahead and turn back on the AC. This here, you can get some more details of your charging session. Go into high voltage charging, and here we see the battery. Minimal temperature is 54 Celsius, maximum temperature 61 Celsius. It's charging here, high voltage. 419 amps. Communications is established, so it is talking back and forth. HV system. HV battery. You can see the battery's filling up. It's not actually like that. It's each battery in the cells are different. So I can tap on the component, and we can see that fast charging connectors, power connections. This is the 12 volt battery up here that's being constantly charged. Should be the 12 volt, maybe not. going to 12 volt, we can look at the power distribution here. Home link. I don't have the CCS retrofit on here. It's saying alerts check 1. Let's see what the alerts has under here. I'll go up here. Alerts. I've always been getting that. Every time they check it, they say it's nothing. Oops, hit the wrong thing. What did here? And exit service mode. Boom. Tell it where to go. It's still saying 30 minutes, but that's not right. We're at 50% charge, which gives us 130 miles. If we leave now, we'll be negative 2% battery. It is now telling us we have 6 minutes left to continue our trip. Which is funny because it was a lot longer. We haven't been here that long. We're at 52% battery right now. It's only doing 124 kilowatts. So like I say, if we hit a supercharger at 40 or 50% battery, it probably will not get over 150 kilowatts, even though it's a 250 kilowatt supercharger, at least for this car. Some of the newer models might be able to handle a higher charging for longer. Even right now, if this was doing 250, it'd be flying a lot quicker. Now, so far we've added 26 kilowatts at 31 cents a kilowatt. That is coming to $8.31. If I was to be using gas, I would definitely be spending a lot more money than what I am now. Not to mention all the maintenance on a gas vehicle. Oh, and I'm going to end this video and try to clean this windshield while I'm at it. Just to update on that bug splatter, I had to do a lot of hard scrubbing. Didn't get it all off, but it's better now. Definitely need to pick up a bottle of Windex. Looking at the front license plate and the front of my bumper, it was definitely a big swarm of bugs that it flew through. Also on charging, we're at 68% battery, and since we have enough to continue our trip, it's only charging at 86 kilowatts now. So when you look at the charging curve, you know, it's usually easier to make faster, shorter trips. I can make it to my destination with 19% battery, suppose it. Switch it back to miles. So this is I should have about 49.9 miles. I want to add a little extra because I'm going to be there for a while and the cars might be sitting for a while before I hit the next supercharger. My next stop after this will be Austin after this stop. I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to actually use these videos. But yeah, it's going smoothly here. Let me pull this up here real quick. Testify is very nice. I can get a lot of data from Testify. It pulls the car about every 30 seconds. And you'll see a little icon up in the right corner every time the car gets pulled for data. Just to let you know, on this current ride, we're here in Alice. We stopped here at what time? This is saying that we got here at 10:16. It's now 10:33, so we've only been here 15 minutes. And I have more than enough to charge, even though it was saying 30 minutes for continuing the trip. I'm still talking, I'm adding more charge. But yeah, 15 minutes would have been just fine. And let me check here. If I go under Testify's site here, oh, there we go. Okay, go to fleet leaderboard, highest odometer or whatever setting I want. I'm gonna go for all Model 3s. Okay, and then I want to go for the highest odometer. Yes, I am still number one at 226,408 miles. The number two is at 225,156 miles, so he's 1,000 miles behind me. So this user needs to step up his game. I can see where he's at. If I click on his name here, it should put information on his car. He's on 24.4.3.15. He's ready to download once he connects, so he's waiting for an update. He's also in a 2018. Looks like he's in Utah. Yeah, it looks like he's still on 12.3.3. So he needs to install the latest eventually here. But yeah, I'm going to go and continue this drive. Let me unplug and we'll just keep recording as we go. And yeah, like I was saying, looking at the data there, look at the Tesla supercharging here. Started charging at 10:18 and at 10:35, only 16 minutes. And I have more than enough to get to my destination. So yeah, it's not like I have to sit here for 45 minutes, an hour, or 2 or 3 hours like some people believe. The supercharging is a lot quicker than what you think. Even though it could have been even quicker if I had that full 250 kilowatts the entire time. I'm going ahead and engaging the full self-driving. It sees it's clear on both directions, so it's going to go. But now the map routing has changed, so it's trying to figure out this new routing. Nudge it here. Disengage it because I don't want to go circle back around. Just keep going this way. There we go. Now the routing's right. And it's not 5 miles per hour. Incorrect speed, not 5 miles per hour. Now it sees the 35. So speed limits, why it wants to think it's 5 miles per hour there, I don't know. But now it sees the speed limit sign at 35, so it's not doing it right. it was getting confused because it kept changing its navigation there as it pulled out of the parking lot. There was no cars around. I could have let it keep going, but I wanted to make sure, I wanted to continue my trip more smoothly here. And sometimes, the GPS, where it shows my car is a little bit off the road. That could be map data error. Of where the road is, which is where it physically is. We're not using high definition maps or high precision GPS. This is kind of an interesting little corner here. This railroad track is. Last time I used it, very rough. Version 11 would take it way too fast. Version 12 is doing a very good job. But yeah, it's a very rough railroad track. Why am I making noise? It's not hurting me. It's amazing how we do that subconsciously. Make noise for our car because we empathize with the car, the bumps. But yeah, that's a very rough railroad track, and like I say, version 11 took it way too fast. This one here did a good job, even though it probably should have gone even slower of how rough it was. And it was still rough enough to knock the phone around. Now that charging session there only cost me $12.40. So not that expensive on the trip. People say that they can make it there in one tank of gas. Yeah, well, you got a little more range on a tank of gas sometimes. The energy density of gasoline to what the energy density of a battery is greater. And it'll be a matter of time before we get better density of energy into a battery as far as energy goes. Now, could we optimize the electric motors to not really, use that massive acceleration and push up our speed more? Yeah. Can we stretch the range more that way? Yeah. Do people like to drive like an old man? No. Do people like to be behind someone driving like an old man? No. Here we have a 50 mile per hour speed limit sign. It is seeing the sign there, and it did see it. The truck wasn't blocking at that time. So it is adjusting for that. If we look at the consumption, yeah, you can see we peaked over 600 kilowatts a few times there. If we had an option to cap it at, say, 350, 375, yeah, it'll be slower at taking off and going, but you'll at least be doing it. Here we have a 60 mile per hour speed line sign. It does visualize it. It did adjust. So that was the 60. It's bugging me how it's not seeing the 65 or greater in some situation. We have another sign coming up here. It's actually a 70 mile per hour speed limit sign. It's way off on the side of the road here, right up here. It's actually visualizing that, and it's adjusting for it. So it saw that one. And it wanted to do 80. I'm dropping it down to 75 because I'm an old man. So yeah, why is it visualizing some signs but not others? And no but the 65s? I don't know. No, you need to go speed. It's getting on the proper ramp, heading to San Antonio. We're not on the interstate per se yet, but it's interstate type driving. It's now adjusted to 75. There has not been a sign yet for 75. So it's grabbing that from nav data. And now it's adjusted to 85. The 75 zone. Now before, I had it set to only go 4% over the speed limit. Now with the auto max setting, when I get in the interstate mode, it seems to just want to do what it wants to do. Now I can go under here, go into autopilot, and turn off this, and then it does have the 4% there. So technically, if I tap on that, it's 78 like it should. Now if I put it back under automatic, I'll let it choose. Yes. Okay, 75. If I tap on it, it wants to do 86. So, yeah. It's making that choice. So, it's not like some say that version 11 is using, or version 12 is using the version 11 highway mode, but we didn't have that option of the automax. So even then, since it does change its selected speed when in automax, it is version 12. But it's given us this speed selection so that we have a little more control in the interstate. If we need to stretch our range, we can drop the speed down and stretch our range. You get best range with doing 70 miles per hour. Even better range at 55. There's an old saying we had back in the 80s, drive 55, and that you get the longest range and mileage. And here we go back into the left-hand turn only lane. Jumping into left-hand only turn lane. Need to stay in straight lane. Why it does that, I don't know. And it is annoying, and it's probably going to do it again. So I'm going to try to get it into the right lane. It thinks it's raining again. I'm going to tell it the minimal lane changes, because I don't want it jumping back into that left-hand lane and jumping into that left-hand turn lane. I did not touch the brake and accelerator. I immediately signaled for it to get out, and it did a good job getting out. But it was a short distance. If there was a car close behind me, it'd be confusing and uncomfortable for that car behind me, trying to figure out what it is I'm doing. If it's a cop, he'll probably pull me over to see if I've been drinking. But yeah, why it keeps jumping in, I mean, it's a clearly marked turn only lane. I'm tempted to let it see what it's going to do, but it wasn't decreasing speed to make a turn. So it would have to jump out on its own at the last minute or go into the grass, which I don't want to risk my car on. to left-hand only lanes when driving straight on interstate. I'm not sure how to report that. Poor lane choice, but it's blatantly wrong lane choice. So yeah, I'm trying to stay in this lane so it doesn't keep doing that. And it's going back up to 85. But yeah, like I was saying, it's definitely a different stack, or new stack, the highway mode. Since version 11, we didn't have that auto lane choice setting. And it does seem to affect on the full self-driving as well. So letting it choose its own speed, giving us the option to adjust is good. And like I say, if you go down to 55, you get the best range possible in a gas vehicle and an electric vehicle. I can look at the stats and see how my driving efficiency is. Only 73%. That's not good. But then again, we have been doing some acceleration and decelerations here. When we started, we had like a 24% battery. When we get to our destination, we're down to 17. But like I said, the car is wanting to go faster than what the car is recommending. If we're going to drive, it's still saying stay around 70 miles per hour. So we are consuming more energy by driving faster than 70. So if we drive 85, yeah, we're going to consume a lot more energy. Now, what I would love is, like in my Tahoe where I have a TAC, to see how my engine's running. It'd be nice if we would have something up here showing the live kilowatt usage per hour, so that we can control the throttle. Yeah, we can go back to this, but this is over the past 3 miles, 15 miles, or 30 miles. So, and you can see it was way up over 900 kilowatts back there. Like I was talking about when it's sending data or being pulled for data. That's the Tesla app, pulling data from the car for its drive. It does about every 30 seconds. So if your car is parked and sitting idle, pausing or sleeping those type of apps will save more power, because then the car is not waking up every 30 seconds to send the status updates. It doesn't consume a whole lot of power. And if you have Sentry mode on, it's not noticeable. But if you turn off Sentry mode, you also want to make sure you have third-party apps not to be pulling it. There it is again. And I think if you tap on that, yeah, location sharing. And this gives you the rundown on what that is. Thank you for watching my video. I'm sorry it's not exciting like Chuck Cook's Left Turns. You know, I don't get into too many of those situations. Some weird ones on the island, nothing major, kind of hard to film them all the time. It's not easy for me to do these videos and edit them because I'm always driving and staying busy. I don't have time to sit down and work on them. My YouTube channel is primarily focused on SpaceX when I have time. Most of the time I spend 10 to 14 hours every day driving Uber and Lyft. So I don't have the amount of time I would like to have to sit down and edit and work on videos. A YouTube channel does not pull in much money at all. Honestly, making only a few cents a day, not even $1 a day. If something exciting happens like a SpaceX launch, then yeah, I might make a couple of dollars, but YouTube only pays out once you hit $100. So since 2020, I've gotten $200 from YouTube. So 4 years, I've made $200. I have spent close to $40,000 in camera equipment and everything else. But, it's more of a passion than it is a money-making endeavor for me. Will my channel ever skyrocket and grow and make money? I don't know. People say, yeah, if you do a whole lot of good content, work on content all the time, yeah, you can do that. But that is a lot of work. It requires time first. As the old saying goes, to make money, you need money to make money. And I'm not going to be out there like a digital beggar on YouTube begging you to pay all my bills and stuff. I am doing the Uber and Lyft to pay my bills. I've been in the computer IT field since the 70s. I can go back to doing the outsourced computer work or doing my computer work, but most of my tools are back in Louisiana. I don't have to bring them here. And I'm still, if you don't know, I do the live streams from the Holiday Inn Beach Resort. I've actually been living in a hotel room for 4 years here. My home's back in Louisiana. So it's not like I have any place to store all of my tools and stuff I need for IT work. And I mean stuff like ladders, test equipment, all this stuff. It's quite a bit of equipment that I may never use, but I need to have with me in case I need it. In my Tahoe, it was not an issue. Tahoe had tons of storage room. I could keep everything in there except for the ladder and boxes of cabling. In the Tesla, doing Uber and Lyft, it's kind of hard to keep all of my tools and extra cable and stuff in the car, since I have to keep room for people's groceries and their luggage and stuff too. So I have to haul the stuff out of the Tesla and back in as needed. And it's not that easy when you're on the 6th floor of a hotel and you have no place to store all that stuff. So it's not something I've really looked into getting back into right now. I still think about it. There are some work orders I could probably pick up that I don't need all those tools. Now saying 11% by the time we get to our destination. So yeah, sometimes it's computation on the trip is not the greatest, but it's still safe. The saying we should have about 27 miles when we get there. I have 165 miles of range, destination 113. I am driving 75. It's recommending doing 70 to increase range, so I am going faster. Full self-driving tends to want to go faster. I am letting it choose. But I'm expecting, since it's saying we'll have 11% when we get there, I'm expecting it's going to start adding a supercharger at some point during this trip. It's now saying 10%. We did, only spend 16 minutes driving. Make sure I'm going to the right destination. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay. Now we're fluctuating 11%. Check out Dr. Know-It-All's channel. He does a lot of Tesla talk, AI especially. Chuck Cook, of course, is well known for his left turns. I've always driven a lot, especially doing IT work, and I have actually gotten stuck a couple of times in my Tahoe. Ran out of gas. Its projection of my range was not accurate. It said I had 60 more miles to go, and I was on the side of the road dry. Even though this percentage is fluctuating, I can still make it there, no problem. It's constantly recomputing for everything. Traffic, weather. It tries to go by what it knows. That's why on this chart you'll see some peaks and ups and downs. This is anticipating when it's going to be using the regenerative braking. Like the green line here is when the car is regenning. So it's throwing some energy back into the battery. When it's black, it's accelerating using energy. I did tell it minimal lane changes, so it's not going to want to pass this vehicle right now. So we see on the instant here, definitely very low 1 hours per mile. That's because we are doing 55. So even though we're going up a hill now at 55, it's actually about 180 miles of range. 132 coming at the peak of the hill. 100. And this is on the instant range over the past 5 miles. Probably go to the 15 miles, you'll see it. And if I look at the average range, averaging 161. Now, if I tell it to pass this vehicle, it's going to want to try to get up to 75, and it'll use a lot of watts for that, a lot of energy for that. Here we go. We're going to have a peak here coming up. And you can see how the range really, the projected range instantly really decreased just from that. Say we're going 55. Just give you an example here. Okay, now we're doing 55. I want to get up to 75. So if we make the car accelerate slower by just increasing your 1 mile per hour at a time here, so it's not a rapid acceleration, even climbing a hill here, which is like old man mode. I'm going to tell it to get back in the other lane. 58, 59, 60. So I'm doing a slow acceleration. 61. Can pass me behind me. 64, 65, 66, 67, 68. Not getting this huge peak when we do it this way. Coming up a hill here, trying to maintain 70. It's going to give a little bit of a peak. Hopefully not over 600. This is what I mean. It'd be nice if we can cap it and say just don't go any further than 450 kilowatt. So one. So we change lanes. We have a slower vehicle at the front. Hopefully there's no left-hand turn lanes up here. I do have the minimal lane changes turned off because I wanted to jump in those left-hand turn only lanes. So we're at 72 miles per hour. yeah, using a more gradual acceleration up to your speed will save energy. Right now it's computing my average is 310. As we pass this truck here, average is 260, 252 kilowatts, or watts per mile, sorry, 1 hours per mile. So yeah, giving us an a way to control the peak 1 hours per mile would be nice, especially when you want to really get the maximum range out of the battery. Now, I've done this a few times when driving and was able to get about 110% efficiency sometimes. Let's see if we can get an update on the efficiency here. Yeah, I'm doing 89% efficiency right now. Where before, letting the car handle it the way I wanted to, it was only doing 73% efficiency. So now it should be giving me, well, it's still saying 9 miles, or 9% when I get there. I am doing 75 and it was recommending only doing 70. But it may not have finished computing against all this. So over the past 30 miles, it has been averaging 264 kilowatts. The past 5 miles, I have it down to 238 watt hours per mile, not kilowatts. Sorry for mixing that up. We're currently going downhill, but we're still sending energy to the wheels. Normally what I would do if I wanted to really stretch the range is I would decrease the speed, especially going uphill. And then let the car increase its speed going downhill. It's fun to mess with that if you really want to try to stretch that range. Like right now we're going uphill, so I'll tell it, let's go down to 72. 70 as it climbs the hill. Of course, we're now coming into a 70 mile per hour zone, which automatically reset to 81. Let's go back. Now we're coming to 55. Needs to slow down because we're in a 55 zone now. And it needs to let me disengage and slow it down. Need to slow down more aggressively in speed zones. Yeah, unfortunately, that was going from 75 to 70, then down to 55. The car still wants to do a lot faster. I don't want a ticket, so I had to disengage to get it to slow down for that. Because it was now in the Automax area where it is controlling everything. Now, even when I tell it what speed I want to go, that is not the speed that it is going to go. That is the maximum it will go. It may go slower. But now in the 45, the car is still doing 54. It is doing a little better slowing down here since we're coming up to 35. At a stoplight, so it's decreasing the acceleration off the line here would actually, give you more range as well. That's the same as the gas vehicle too. If you floor the pedal, you're going to burn a lot more gas. We're now coming up through Three Rivers, so I could hit this supercharger if I wanted to. But I have 144 miles of range. And my destination is only 94 miles. It's saying 8% when I get there. And it doesn't sound exactly right. See the 70. Did not see it in the visualization. It still thinks it's 55. Now it wants to do 63. So yeah, another instance where it's not seeing the speed limit signs over 65 all the time. If I had a couple other friends who had the full self-driving to do the same route and see if it's doing the same for them or not. Both hardware 4 and maybe some newer Model 3s. Trying to figure out exactly what the issue is. Another 70 mile per hour speed limit sign, it ignored. Still thinks it's in a 55. I'm letting it do 63. I want to kind of, it's still recommending staying under 70. Back up to 10% battery when we get to the destination. So park it in the park there, where I can see the launch pad of SpaceX on the island. The only problem is they only allow a maximum amount of time there, 6 months. You got to move the RV. Of course, I have no way of towing an RV in this Model 3, so I'll have to pay someone to move it. A few times when I see ones for sale. Some of these videos may be long. I don't, speed through them or anything. You can always change the speed on the YouTube as you're watching it, or skip forward. But I like to try to keep in the mistakes it makes, like those left-hand turn lanes. There's another 70 mile per hour sign, still not recognized. Why? I don't know. Some refineries and factories up ahead. No windshield wipers for a while now. Knock on wood. What is the difference between this guy and back there where it kept turning on the windshield wipers? All I can say is probably more green. Foliage and stuff around here. Usually I see the windshield wipers coming on when there's no rain, when there's nothing but open sky. Like maybe it might do it in this situation where you have these open fields and a lot of gray. And it also depends on the angle of the sun. The full self-driving is missing these speed limit signs. Even though this is a 70 mile per hour zone, it's doing 64. It's below the 70 mile per hour speed limit, but it's above what it thinks, 55. For me, that's acceptable. It's helped me in my range. We now have a projected range of 26 miles when we get there. Our consumption has been really good. The average is only 233 watt-hours per mile, so it's actually giving us more range. We've only had that one peak up to 600 watt-hours a mile. Zone. It's actually slowing down on its own. Now it sees the 45 and it's doing the 48. It is kind of weird how you be on what you feel like an interstate, major highway, and you have all these small little towns here in Texas. was kind of confusing when I first came down to South Padre Island from Louisiana. I'm sitting there driving on the interstate, and next thing I know, I'm coming through one of these little towns. It's like, am I lost? I don't recall getting off the interstate. And it just kind of changed. Now we're in a 30 zone. It's doing 25. Of course, there's a vehicle in front of me. It should kind of ignore the minimal lanes changes now, but we'll see. It's a short little town. Now we're doing really good with an average of 195 watt-hours a mile. So I'm going to look under stats. What's that on? We're now doing 105% efficiency. So yeah, you can actually get more out of your battery. You know, it's saying my estimated range is 140 miles. Even though the car is saying 133, but dude, I'm getting 105% efficiency right now. Yeah, it can be pushed. Catch that. Oh, wait. Driving.
Okay.
Okay.
How long?
Maybe 1 p.m.
1 hour?
Maybe. Let me see.
Okay.
1 hour 14 minutes. So 12:45.
Okay.
Say, Jen,
Yeah.
you on
Is it
camera?
okay?
On camera.
Oh.
Hello.
Bye-bye.
Say, Jen. My girlfriend. Taking her to Austin, or north of Austin, actually. Now we have the acceleration here. It's seeing the 60. Let's see what Waze says it should be. Waze says we should be in a 70. So did I miss the 70 mile per hour speed limit sign? If I did, the car did. It's now projecting 11% when we get there. So yeah, there are ways to increase your efficiency on a drive. And that's driving in grandpa mode. I'm allowed to do that because I'm almost 60 years old myself, so yeah, I can do that. If someone yells at me, I'll just toss my dentures at them or something. But yeah, you can see the acceleration there. If I was manually driving, I could have curbed the acceleration, made it smoother, and not consumed as much energy. I really wish when I changed the driving thing to like chill, that it would do that. You know, like let's grandpa mode, let's slow down, let's not increase speed as much. And we got the right lane closed ahead. Got some rumble strips here. They got some construction up here. Get us to pay attention, so I'm telling it to go slower. The car does see the cones. When it's in the highway mode, it visualizes them. When it's not in highway mode, it does see them, it just doesn't visualize it. I don't recall seeing another speed limit sign slowing down for the construction area, but I'm going ahead and dropping it down to 50 just in case. Here we are passing the Three Rivers superchargers. They're only 151 kilowatt superchargers. Okay, and it kind of moved over a little bit for that guy standing there, just to be safe. And it braked a little bit for that section there. Accelerating. 75 is getting a nav issue, our nav data, because there's no signs here yet. So it's automatically setting for 75, but it's still not on the highway interstate mode. It's on the regular full self-driving mode. It's not letting me adjust that. But we are on the on-ramp. So once we get off the on-ramp, merge into the traffic, it should switch. And it did. It was doing 79. I'm dropping down to 70. Sign is seeing that one. So it's seeing the speed limit signs on the interstates, but on the highways, it's not seeing those. Because we're on I-37 North now. And it was visualizing that 75 mile per hour speed limit sign. So it really kind of baffles me on how that is working. There's no real information on that. And I've had other people say they don't see that issue, but they're not driving the same place I am. They're not going on these highways that are not interstates, or these back roads that are high speed like we have out here in Texas. And yeah, I'm going to San Antonio, or you can keep going the same route going to Austin. And this is Austin, between Austin where the Gigafactory is and South Padre Island where Boca Chica is, right across SpaceX. We know there are tons of Teslas that drive back and forth this same route. I'm not the only one. Is kind of limited. We have the supercharger in Three Rivers, the new one at Alice, then Kingsville, and then there's nothing until Harlingen. Before it used to be nothing until Brownsville or South Padre Island. 2020 it was just South Padre Island. There wasn't one in Brownsville. So for me in a standard range plus at Kingsville, I had to charge up to 100% to make it South Padre Island. And I had no problem. That was the standard range plus. It made it there, no issue at all. But it's nicer now that we have the other options in the Harlingen. And just a few miles north of the Harlingen, there's a new one in Mercedes. Only 16 miles. The one in McAllen is still 150 kilowatt. It'd be nice if they upgrade that one. The supercharger on the island, I am told they're going to be removing that from one from the Holiday Inn Beach Resort. It's an old urban 75 kilowatt supercharger. It's really slow. I hear the rumor is they're putting a 250 kilowatt superchargers on the island, more up to date, probably more stalls than just the two, which would be nice. Because the two at the hotel, only being 75 kilowatts, you have to wait a while. Some people just park there and go to the beach and just tie it up. So, I don't run into many issues. It's usually not a long wait, but still, with the number of Cybertrucks we have in the valley and the number of people that come to vacation on the island, they need more faster superchargers, especially if they're opening them up to other vehicles like Ford Mach-E's and Ford F-150s. We're going to have more EVs charging now. Now it's anticipated 12%, so it's still not zero. I'm going to switch this off of the normal lane change and let it do it. I have it on average, so it may pass this Airstream ahead of us. The Airstream. Now, right now it should go faster than 70, even though I am just telling it to do 70, because we do have a truck coming up behind us, and we're passing it. So it should try to pass the vehicles faster. So when it's passing a vehicle, and now it's moving out of passing lanes, what it should do. So it does want to stay out of the passing lane on the interstate. But in Texas, technically, you're supposed to stay out of the passing lane, even on the highways on the main roads. You should only be on the left-hand lane if you're passing someone. Not film the entire drive, and but I think I'm going to turn the camera off now, and when I get closer I'm going to turn it back on, see how well it does once we get into the city. We are about 57 miles away. This is going to be kind of boring for the rest of the way, so I'm going to turn off the camera. I'm going to crank up my music, listen to some Odekin, and be back in a few. Okay, we're back. Just about 19 miles away from my destination. Getting into San Antonio now. Pretty much no issues between when I stopped recording and now. Still far as the accelerator or the brake. Any steering or anything, the car's still driving like it should. As you can see, all the speed limit signs here on this interstate, no problem. We're now coming up to the interchanges up here in the San Antonio area. And it usually handles the interstate very well, and it always has been. I am still having an estimated speed of 12, or an estimated charge left of 12% when we get to the destination, which is still good. Relatively no change as far as energy consumption. It's still showing about 30 miles when we get there, and I'm still averaging about 260. It's kind of braking for this car. It should merge over, but it's I'm trying to get that guy a room, but he's going kind of slow, so I'm broken up to get a room. Averaging 278 or 279 watt hours a mile past 30 miles. If I check my efficiency, looks like I'm still driving around 86% efficiency, so not bad, not terrible. It fluctuates depending on the way you drive. Here comes the 65 sign. It sees it, it visualizes it, it adjusts for it. So it seems like the 65s and all that, it doesn't want to see on the highways, on the back roads, or on the interstates. I don't know. It's kind of really odd. My knee is bothering me, so. We're proceeding to come up to the interchange here. Nice thing about full self-driving, I'm not familiar with San Antonio, all of this. It's nice letting the car worry about where the exits are and stuff, and you just there in case there's an issue or something that you need to take over. You're watching everybody else. And that car merging in, yeah, it kept slowing down to let them over. There's a lot of traffic on the left-hand side, so it couldn't switch lanes. Even when I tried to tell it to switch lanes, it knew it couldn't. It still handled it safely. Little features like when you're trying to let someone in, if it will flash the headlights, that might be a nice little gesture so it knows it's telling the other person to go ahead and go. Something that the car should be able to do itself to be able to communicate to other drivers. I don't know if it does that or not. I don't think it does. As far as I know, there's no indications that I've seen on here that it does. Right now, the light's off, just the driving light, but if I hit the high beam, yeah, it does show up there. So, that's something we normally do. If we're trying to let someone in, we usually flash the headlights to let them know we're trying to let them in. I think full self-driving should do that. Be a little bit clearer to let the other person know what it's trying to do. It's kind of hard for us to give a hand gesture to the other person, not knowing what the car is trying to do. to say, years ago, this little track driving between here and there, oh, I used to have nightmares of issues with full self-driving. It got to the point where most of the time, for several miles, I had to do the driving. We're actually now getting some rain. Even though we are getting a little bit of showers, it hasn't engaged the windshield wipers yet. Really doesn't need to because it's not that heavy. But it's just kind of funny that before it would engage when there was no rain. And now that we have a little bit of sprinkles, it's not. More big bug splatters. Now, if those would have hit near the camera, yeah, I would probably have to pull over and clean the cameras. Might be an issue for robotaxi in the future. Sounded like some rocks, not sure where they came from. Interchanges in some of these cities can get kind of confusing. But I'm letting the car handle it. Nice to have some more superchargers in the area. If I wanted to go to Eagle Pass, there's no superchargers up that way, and it's just kind of out of range of a round trip from a supercharger, unless I really milk the mileage. Eagle Pass is also an Indian reservation up there, and the only really casino in Texas. You would think the casino would want to put in some destination chargers or something up there to attract people to that casino. But then again, maybe they look and they don't find that many Tesla drivers who like to gamble a lot. Motorcycle is another car, but that's okay. It's another vehicle. Now it's a motorcycle. You can see it a little more clearer. Interstate driving has always been very good and solid. I really think Tesla should push for their full self-driving, especially on interstates, to be labeled as level 3. I can tell you right now that Tesla's full self-driving does a lot more than Ford's Blue Cruise. How it can be registered as level 3, I am at a total loss. That has to be some sort of favoritism. government giving Ford some, breaks or leeways just because they bail out all the big automakers? Let's give us a tone and say we're now in level 3 area for the areas that Tesla knows it works flawlessly at, where it gets the proper speed limits, where it doesn't get into left-hand turn-only lanes when it should be going straight. And let's get that level 3 recognition that it deserves. Personally, on the interstate, a number of these vehicles that don't stay in their lane, the number of vehicles that may have lane assist that just kind of bounces back and forth, they don't hold the lane true. Some of the new ones are doing a better job, but it's still not like the Tesla. Even for this, it's going to the far outside the lane while next to this truck, which makes me a little more comfortable. It's not hugging this dead center lane like it used to in version 11. Which is another reason why I think the interstate highway mode is not the version 11 mode. Range is getting low, but up here in San Antonio, there's a lot of different superchargers all over the place, so it's not an issue. We have a vehicle over here with its emergency blinkers on. Car's kind of braking for that, trying to figure out what they're doing. Non-freeway highways that I'm seeing that issue. And like I'm saying, the not seeing the speed limit signs, it's odd that 2 times it did. But only 2 times out of a good 40 times on the same road. Which is statistically bad. want to pass on the right-hand side. It's okay, we're coming into exit, so we need to get over anyway. Makes me feel more comfortable instead of it going further to the left when we're so close to the exit. Coming up, it's handling everything fine. It's not getting confused, it's paying attention. It's still watching everything that's going on around me, handling everything just fine. Let's see how close we can get to our destination. Remember, this entire trip so far, there's been very minimal takeovers I had, except for the one time when I need a bathroom break. The one time I had to get it to the accelerator for the caution lights. Having to give a turn signal for it to get out of the left-hand turn lane. And I only disengaged to send a report. I didn't have to disengage. I was still driving fine, but I just wanted to get that report option in there. I don't think there's a double tap. No, that's just to send commands. It'd be nice if we had a way to double tap and send a report without disengaging. So both of these lanes are left turn lanes, so it's on the outside lane. Personally, I would have picked the outside lane as well, since I don't know what to expect. I don't know if there's an upcoming immediate left-hand turn or not, but it could have been on the inside lane as well. Now our destination is on the left-hand side in less than half a mile. Okay, so it is getting over to that. That's good. Zone, it's seeing those speed limits good. It's not excessively speeding, but it is going with the flow of the traffic. And now I see what the name of the Japanese restaurant is that I'm heading to. As it comes up here pretty quickly, braking kind of harshly. I would have broke a lot earlier, but this parking lot did come up pretty quickly, so it's making the turn into the parking lot by itself. Still haven't taken over. It's going down into the parking lot here. Let's see if it will go to the destination, which is actually up. It's giving a turn signal, but it sees a lady here. It's actually going into the parking space. So here again, it's actually parking itself into a parking space. It's not even with the parking space, but it parked itself at the end of the navigation. Wow. I did not have to do anything. It's at a stop. It didn't put it into park. It's still in drive, but it has done that by itself. Disengaging full self-driving. Car is pulled into parking space crooked, but good job. So, going into reverse. I'm going to end the video here.